Hello, welcome back to the A to Z of Archaeology. Today's the letter W, and W stands for what's in a name. And I can tell you from personal experience that it matters what we decide to call things. When I was born, it was a time of great relief for my parents, as it is for many. I had been born very premature, and they were simply happy that I was a fully functioning human being. Once they knew I was safe, as with any parents, thoughts wandered as to what my name might be. What would people call me? Eventually they decided to call me Mark, which is spelled M-A-R, and then finally a kicking K. To many, I can assure you, Mark is spelt with a K. However, originally Mark was not spelled with a K. And my parents, who appreciate history, decided to go with M-A-R, as would be predicted, and then finally a C. Yes, a C. So that's Mark with a C, not a K, but a C. That's C for castles, C for charming, certainly not K, and definitely not short for Marcus. The name Mark has its origins with the Roman god of war, Mars, truly an inspirational figure. Mars, Marcus, and Mark with a C are evocative of the wise and great emperor Marcus Aurelius, and we mustn't forget that it's also the favoured way of spelling Mark in Wales. And we, Mark with a C's, take our name very seriously, after a lifetime of people misspelling it. Indeed, one of my friends came out with this rather interesting quote. I often get irate when people call me the wrong name or write my name incorrectly, and this can lead to confusion and often lead to people misunderstanding me. And the same applies to archaeology. An excellent example are hill forts, or rather hill forts. The use of the word fort evokes a very particular image, a militarized building, impregnable, unapproachable, on top of a hill, and from where a king rules the land around, for better or for worse. These massive archaeological features are often found in the south of England and date from the Iron Age, before the Romans arrived in Britain. For decades these places were seen as centres of chieftain's power, from where he or she could wage war against his neighbours. But evidence of attacks at these places is extremely rare, and the so-called defences are often piecemeal and far from comprehensive. And some of these fortresses, so-called, are often overlooked by a hill very close by. However, recent finds have suggested that these sites did indeed see pockets of violence, and that was certainly the opinion of Mortimer Wheeler when he found Roman spears lodged in people's spines. This was apparently evidence that these hill forts had done battle with the Roman army. However, in times of crisis, people often take refuge in the nearest large structure, in this instance, a sports venue. If there is one ruler per castle who is managing all the resources in a near feudal-like system, where is the evidence for this? When we excavate within these so-called forts, often all the houses are the same size, remarkably egalitarian. Some have suggested that these may be places where Iron Age shrines were placed. However, the interiors are often very busy and mundane, far from holy. A potential explanation comes from their siting. Hill forts are often located on lands that are extremely flat. There are no valleys to contain communities or to direct trade, and therefore the hill itself acts as a beacon, a place for meeting, a place for feasting, and a place for trading. Whatever these sites are about, surely calling them forts does not do justice to their complexity. So what we call things directly affects our attitude towards them, and therefore our research interests, and also the knowledge that we pass on to the public at large. Here are some other very interesting examples. People often talk of the Roman military machine, a powerhouse which fought its way across the known world at the beginning of the first millennium AD, fighting efficiently and fiercely with all who they came across and conquering all in their wake. However, this view of them does not do them justice. Once they'd set up camp, it is estimated that each Roman soldier could have as many as 8 people supporting them, making armour, food, and providing other, more interesting services. The Roman army was not a machine, it was a mass of people. The way that people often refer to the upper, middle, and lower Paleolithic, or fully modern human beings is possibly unhelpful, as it infers that there is a hierarchy, an up and a down. The term Lower Paleolithic infers a group of animals which were simply lucky, a rabble bashing rocks together, making noises, and hunting in a very disorganized way. Ultimately, they were lucky if they ever got any food anyway. However, those who are lucky enough to live in the Upper Paleolithic are often portrayed as heroic, fully modern human beings taking on the world, full of vitality, energy, and ambition. Of course, those who work with these terms know that this is not the case. However, there is the potential for a perceived hierarchy, a top, a middle, and a bottom. Maybe it would be better to call these periods the early, the middle, and the late Paleolithic instead. We still hear the term Dark Ages every day, or rather, the Dark Ages. This increasingly unfashionable term implies that there was a time after the fall of the Roman Empire when the world went to pot, when ruffians took over, ignorant people. And yes, we did forget how to make glass, and often people forgot how to spin pottery, which was a Roman specialty. And yes, monumental architecture, building in stone, went out the window. Instead, people in Northern Europe were building with wood. But the archaeology shows us that this was far from a period of ignorance. The people were wonderful craftsmen who advanced metalwork. They were truly gifted musicians who passed on their histories through great tales such as the mighty Beowulf. And ultimately this period saw the beginning of the English language, the language that we took to the moon. This was anything but a dark age. What's in a name? Everything is in a name. And this is something which archaeologists have increasingly begun to understand, the importance of how we present sites and finds to ourselves, and ultimately how those sites and finds are presented to the public at large. So that's been W, What's in a Name. Hopefully you found this video interesting or useful. Feel free to comment below or send me any questions you may have. If you'd like, feel free, please do, to subscribe to the channel by pushing the button above, or alternatively, search for us on Facebook by looking for Archaeology Productions, click like, and anything I can't fit into a video usually makes it on to that page. So, until next time, thank you very much.